Hello once again, and welcome to Heroes and Droids, your guide to movies and TV shows about superheroes, sci-fi, Disney, and action. From Marvel to DC, from Star Wars to Star Trek, from James Bond to the Fast and the Furious. We will review theatrical films and streaming delights you care about most. And this week we're reviewing Uncharted, undoubtedly a film that a lot of people are either looking forward to or dreading desperately. So we will determine what we thought with our review and do all that. But first, let me introduce the crew. I am Doc Rotten. Joining me tonight is podcasting Rockstar and international cosplay queen Vanessa Thompson. How you doing, Vanessa Drake? Vanessa Drake tonight.
This evening. Yes, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's been a good weekend.
It has. I just got back from vacation. My mind is a total brain fog.
Let's just quit our jobs. You know what? Let's just do this. No work. We can get free Wi-Fi at Starbucks.
That's free Wi-Fi at Starbucks. Oh man, just to make sure. Yeah. All right. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to give our first impressions of Uncharted, and then we're going to, that will be spoiler free. Then we're going to dive into a discussion. We will get into spoilers and all kinds of things that happen in the film, and then we'll wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. And of course, we hope you enjoy not only this review, but many others that we have on the site. Please check them out and let us know what you think down below. Of course, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. All that does wonders for us, and we greatly appreciate it. All right, let's look at the CAD, shall we? Out in the backyard, we have the CAD, Fred and Chad. All right, Uncharted 2022, available in theaters beginning February 18th of this year. Directed by Ruben Fleischer. Written by Art Marcum, Matt Holloway, Rafe, Judkins, John Hanley, John Hanley, Rosenberg, and Mark D. Walker. Carriage returns. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. All right, based on the game created by Amy Hannon. Yep. The cast includes Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg, Antonio Banderas, Sophie Ali, and Tati Gabrielle, who I like quite a bit. But we'll get to that. Synopsis is street smart Nathan Drake is recruited by seasoned treasure hunter Victor Sullivan to recover a fortune amassed by Ferdinand Magellan and lost 500 years ago by the House of Moncada. And I imagine that is based on the game at some point somewhere. Yeah. All right. So confession before we get into this. I have no frame of reference for this. I've never played Uncharted, so I do not know Nathan Drake and his physicality or anything about it, because there's a lot of controversy about whether or not Tom Holland is fit for the role. You, however, Vanessa Drake, are a player of the game, are you not?
Yes.
So you do have some background and can tell us some shizznizzle about it, right?
A little bit, yeah.
All right.
I'll wrap that into my first impression too. I was definitely one of the people who was not on board for this movie because I'm such a fan of the games and the characters in the games and how cinematic this series of games are. They've become so endearing to their fan base that it's difficult to see a Tom Holland or Mark Wahlberg in the roles that we know or that we imagine them. But I do have to say, this movie has won me over.
It won you over?
It really did. I didn't expect it, and it wasn't immediate. It was definitely through watching the movie, but by the end of it, I'm ready for Uncharted 2. I was very, very excited. Yeah. And this movie in particular, it does bring in some aspects of different games, but this isn't the theme of one game. Okay. If that makes sense. House of Moncada and all that stuff. Yep. It kind of has taken aspects and characters and stuff from the games.
Okay. So are you liking it as a movie or as an adaptation of Uncharted, the game?
Both. I really didn't, there's some scenes in it that we'll talk about when we get into spoilers that I really didn't expect to see and kind of brought the game to life in a certain way, and it was really fun. And there's one moment in particular with Tom Holland and his Nathan Drake character that he does something, and I'm like, that's it. That's it. He did it. He's Nathan Drake. I see it.
Excellent. Of course, I already confessed I didn't have any Uncharted history. So as an action film, as a Indiana Jones ripoff film, which
maybe
felt
more
very
Tomb
much
Raider,
like
a little bit more Tomb Raider.
A little Tomb Raider.
He's not an archaeologist. He's kind of just a treasure hunter.
Yeah, there's a lot of Tomb Raider in it too. I can see that. I thought it was a great action flick. I really liked Tom Holland in this. I really liked I liked the chemistry between him and Mark Wahlberg. I thought that they're, at least for most of the film, their confrontational chemistry was really good, and I liked the supporting cast. Antonio Banderas was great, and so were Sophia Ali, who I'm not familiar with, who played Chloe Fraser, who apparently is a part of the game. Yes? No?
Chloe Fraser, yes. Okay. Yes, she is. Yeah.
And then Tati Gabrielle is Braddock. Now, is she new or is she part of the game?
She is kind of based on a character from the game, but they created her for the movie.
Okay. And of course, I know her as Prudence from the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which I loved her in that too. Yeah. And her hair just looks great in this. So
awesome.
I thought it was a great cast. Thought it was a great cast. The action was fantastic. There's a couple sequences in here that are amazing. The finale is preposterous, but in the best way possible. Pure cinematic, just brain candy, and I had a great time with it. It's not the greatest thing in the world. I probably won't be on the top of my list of the year, but it definitely was a great time in the theaters. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Me too.
So tell me more about these characters. Nathan Drake and Sully, I guess, are two main characters of the game. And from what I know from a third party that saw the film with us, that the Nathan Drake is supposed to be a older fellow, maybe more like Nathan Fillion than Holland. What is your take on that?
Are we going spoilers? Are we in
spoilers? We're in spoilers. We're in Spoilerville now, folks.
Okay. Well, that was part of it. Him and Mark Wahlberg, excuse me, neither of them were those characters to me before I watched it. Before I saw the movie, I thought that this casting is horrible. How dare they not cast Nathan Fillion and
Bruce Campbell?
Bruce Campbell in these two roles. How dare they not do that? But, you think about it, they are a little past their action hero prime at this point, and ooh, how dare I? And you want to be able to tell a story for a while, so you need characters that can do that. You need actors that can do that. And even though I wasn't 100% on board for it, I was willing to give it a try because it looked like it was going to be a fun movie. That second trailer, or the last trailer that came out, was amazing and really is the thing that hooked me. So as I watched the movie, they really kind of fell in to these character types. And honestly, by the end of it, especially when we get the first or the second post-credit scene.
Oh my God.
That yes. Almost directly leads into the first game.
Does it?
And okay. Yeah, the character that they're talking to, he's the one based off of one from the first game, and seeing them together, and it just really, it felt right. It felt right at that point.
Yeah, I really got into it by the third act. I will confess that and I'm doing a lot of confessing this time. I guess it's because we spent a lot of time in church during the movie. Why did I do that? But anyway, the whole thing with setup between the two characters felt a little awkward, and it tripped on itself a little bit. But once it got into the three of them, I think once they hooked up with Chloe, I really got on board. I thought the three of them together actually made a better group of heroes. I really liked the three of them together when they were, palling around. And there
Mhm.
was, it's a three-way kind of weird thing going on, and as far as not trusting everybody, and
Mhm.
it really was interesting, and the conflict of it was fun, and the banter back and forth, and of course you had the heaven and the hell part of it,
Yeah.
because
Oh yeah.
figuratively, air quotes.
Yeah.
So
No, and they really lean into that in the game too. They have that really funny back and forth banter. They hold no punches back from each other kind of
mhm.
relationship. Kind of everybody in their lives are like that, and it makes it for a really really fun game. And the games themselves are kind of like that. It's great when it's Nathan and Sully, of course, but once you get the other female characters mixed into it, it just becomes so much more fun. And there's more to come. When we get Uncharted 2, there's more characters
There
that
we go. There we go.
they're
I'm
gonna
looking
pull
forward to
in.
that. Yeah,
Mhm.
I that's another good thing. I think both of us said the same thing going out of the theater. Is I'm looking forward to a second one. It
Mhm.
left me wanting a Uncharted 2, so it did its job, and we have this. I really like the the actor Pilo aspect, who plays Gage, this
Who?
character. He's listed as Gage, the character with the eye patch.
Oh, yeah, yeah, in the post-credit scene?
Yes,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah, he's gonna come into from the
yeah,
first game.
yeah, and he's a fun actor from Game of Thrones. I don't know if you
Mhm.
remember in the final
Mhm.
couple seasons of that, but he's a great bad guy. So it was like, oh wow, we get introduced to all this and it's done. Oh my goodness.
Yes,
Uh,
I know, but that hooks you for the next one.
so we got to talk about the. There's a lot of action sequences in this, but
Yes.
nothing in it. Well, maybe the whole plane thing. So they got the plane thing at first, and then you have the helicopter stuff. The plane thing's pretty fantastic, but I thought the helicopter stuff actually topped it. I having the helicopters airlift these 500-year-old ships out of the cave, and they're having to chase us. I mean, when I said earlier it was preposterous, physics just thrown out the window. These ships would not survive this at all. But who cares? It's a lot
Yeah,
of fun, and you jumped at a moment of it when,
a couple times.
which is
Yeah, because
kind of fun.
it got yeah, I was very invested in these ships as they're trying to airlift them away. And what's funny is the plane scene is one from the games. That little
Mm.
scene where he's climbing up those boxes and everything, that's in the games. Um, but you're right, I had so much fun, and that's part of it where it really hooked me because I was like, "This is just it doesn't matter if it's real or not, it's really fun to
Hmm.
watch, and I'm having a really good time, and I'm loving what I'm seeing, and that's also part of the games, right? Not everything in the games is realistic, because that's why it's a video game. Um, so it really brought that into it, and about halfway through the movie, I'd say it really started to feel like the games when they go on the exploring or looking they're, trying to find out where these crosses go, they're looking for this gold. That whole exploring, that search and find aspect of the games that they worked into the movie was so much fun to watch and kind of be immersed in. Um,
Yeah, I don't know if I entirely bought the whole thing. Like, nobody's been down here in 500 years, and there's a big, huge modern pipe going right beside him.
and there
Like,
was an
rethink
underground
that, dude.
bar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
rethink this.
no, I know.
It's people been down here,
Yeah,
but at the same time, it didn't matter. It
yeah,
just it really didn't matter.
exactly.
Now, another aspect of this could be the villain or villains or lack of, or is there a villain, or who's the villain, when is the villain? Because there's all it's nobody trusts each other, and there's a lot of characters who are all after the same thing. Did you have any trouble or problem with establishing who the antagonist was?
Well, it's not a perfect script, right? The dialogue isn't necessarily perfect. The way the story is being told isn't necessarily perfect, but all that aside, if you want to enjoy it, you can enjoy it. You will enjoy it. But a little bit maybe, but I think they sacrifice that in giving us the first movie, right? And kind of
Mhm.
laying the foundation for things to come, the character building the foundation for the characters. So I think they kind of shied away from having a really strong singular villain or antagonist in this one, so as to kind of introduce these characters and how they work with each other and what they're
Mhm.
doing and why they're doing it. Because I will tell you, I was shocked when Antonio Banderas' character died. The
Yes,
Moncada,
big,
like,
huge spoilers if you are.
yeah,
But yeah, I
what?
was not expecting that at all.
Me neither.
And I thought he was doing such a great job. I actually
Yeah,
felt, like even though it needed just a little bit more push, but it,
yeah,
you felt his motivation was, this family legacy and his goal to find this gold and reestablish the name and everything.
yeah.
So, and it just went out the window in a moment. And then, so I mean, I thought that was a little disarming, but at the same time, I was very pleased to have that kind of a shocking moment in the
Yeah,
movie, and it literally surprised me. So,
yeah,
you
yeah. I
kind
like
of
the
have to
turn.
give it that, right?
Yeah, yeah. But see, that's kind of like what you were saying, though. You think you know who the villain is, and then kind of it's turned on its ear in that
Mm.
moment, and you have a new main antagonist.
Popping up. Yeah, and of course Tom Holland did a great job. A lot of Spider-Man antics without a Spider-Man costume,
Yeah,
and showing off his physique and his good humor and his agility.
yeah. I love it.
As we know, he's well, he's going to be a what? Who's he going to? He's going to be playing a dancer and. Oh my gosh, I know where I want to go. Fred Astaire. He's doing Fred Astaire,
Is
right?
he? I didn't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that. Oh,
yeah.
he's gonna
So
be amazing.
yeah, because of course he has a dance background. So
Yeah, he has the physicality for it.
yeah.
And that was great too for Nathan Drake. You can't put a Nathan Fillion in a role like this and expect him to be showing off his six-pack abs and like doing pull-ups in a workout montage. I'm sorry, like love the guy, but that's for Tom Holland to do. And that I mean, and it's so much like the game, he has that kind of jumping around from things and like running around doing all these parkour moves. That's very much part of the game and what makes it fun. So to have an actor that we already know he can do a lot of this stuff, so it just makes it that much like more fun.
Yep. I still, more Peter Parker for me though, please.
I hope so. I hope so.
But I'm looking forward to, like we said, Uncharted 2. So let's go
Mhm.
ahead and wrap this up. Let's give our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. Vanessa, why don't you start us off?
Oh, I had fun. I had a lot of fun. This movie won me over as I was watching it. We talked last night about how I've kind of decided to try to go into any movie that I'm watching and just enjoy it and have fun, unless it's completely egregious in some sort of way. But this was one of
And
those
it can
movies.
be.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. Uh, House of Gucci might be on that list, but that
Oh my.
that aside, I had so much fun with this movie. Please, if you're considering watching it, please do give it a chance. The worst that will happen is that you hate it and you go back to playing the games again.
There you go.
Yeah. Uh, but I really, really loved it. I, I did not think Mark Wahlberg was going to make a great Sully, but at the end of the movie, he was a Sully for me. And I really enjoyed the way they built Chloe's character up. I can't wait to
Mhm.
see more of her. I can't wait to see the adventures that they're going to go on in the future. It just got me really excited uh, to see more from this property. For me, someone going into it who didn't expect to enjoy it and didn't expect it to really scratch that itch for me, it did that and beyond. And I'm really surprised, but really, really happy about it. Um, so I'm gonna give this one a 4.
Oh,
I
nice.
think, yeah, I think a 4 is a fair score because I really, really loved the action. I love the actors that they cast, honestly. Um, like I said, some story structure problems and, not always the best dialogue back and forth, but that's the kind of stuff you can kind of let go to let it become greater, and you get to see 500-year-old ships being flown around in the
Yes,
air.
yes,
Worth
amazing.
it. Um, so my favorite scene. So there's 2 parts. I absolutely loved when he discovered the ships, when he came up out of the water and he saw those ships
Oh,
there.
yes, yes.
that moment where he found it. It wasn't even about the gold or the treasure. That was the treasure, right? It was something him and his brother talked about doing forever, and he did it. He found them. They were there. And that scene, there's a scene in one of the games that's very, very similar to that, where he's coming up on a ship that we've been looking for. So it was really cool to see that in the movie. But the part that got me, the part that really solidified it for me, and I was like, that's it. That's awesome, is when um he's fighting on the ship. They're already flying around, right? He's fighting the guys off the ship, and he takes the one guy's gun belt, or his holster, and he puts it on, and I was like, that's it.
That's him.
He's Nathan Drake. He did. That's it. That was that moment, and he completed the picture for me. And the music, the theme music from the game started playing, and it was just a really awesome moment, well timed. And I have to say one more thing. There's a Easter egg in there. Don't miss it. Nolan North, the voice of Nathan Drake, is in this movie. He's on a beach. So keep your eyes peeled. I'm sure if you've watched it already, I'm sure you saw him, but it was really, really awesome that they got him in there. And he says, yeah, I fell out of a plane once. Loved it.
Yeah, they interact with him, so you won't miss him. You won't miss him. All right. I saw this for the star power and the action film of it. So it delivered. I didn't know what to make of it. Ruben Fleischer did Venom, which is I liked, but this is pretty much on the same level of Venom, I think, in a lot of ways. It handles the action really well. It gives you the lead characters are really carry the film like they're supposed to, and it's just a lot of fun. I had a smile on my face through the movie and left with a smile on my face, and so it did its job, and it's entertainment. It's not necessarily, like you said, it's not going to win any awards for the script, but
are you really holding to the Rock to that high of a standard with his movies?
I'm never
like that, right?
It did, and so I had a great time. And a 4 is what I wanted to give it as well.
Nice.
Again, I think there's going to be a lot of films that are going to be better than this as the year goes on, but I'll watch it again. I'll watch it again for sure. And I definitely want to see another one. I definitely want to see where this thing goes at the end of it. And the whole caterpillar on the face thing. Well, we'll get. So my favorite scene is it's got to be toward the end with the ships. It's just the whole idea of it when they're zipping through the little columns of rocks that are out there. And there's. I think the one time when he takes that real sharp turn, he smacks up against it. You're like,
that's when I was like, no.
So it really is a lot of fun, and it has energy to it and a lot of fun to it, and it also has a character moment buried in it with Sully, as he has to make a decision between friendship and gold, and I love that. I thought that was it was what we needed. It paid off anyway for him. So, but if it wasn't that, it definitely the moment that they find the ships, because it's about his brother, and that's the theme of this one. It seems like it's more like discovering his brother, or rediscovering his brother, or rediscovering that passion that they shared early on in the film. In the post or pre credits, right?
Yeah. For
so yeah, and it just so that really, I will agree with you. That really is like the moment of the film that pays off. So there you go. So leave your comments down below. Are we being too forgiving?
Am I too nice? Maybe.
If we had a third party on here, we know who I'm talking about. We might have a different story and a different opinion.
Maybe.
And I know. There's a couple other folks that normally are on podcasts that don't even want to see it because of what we were talking about.
Yeah. Give it a chance.
I think you should. But I'll tell you, my favorite. I will leave you with this.
Okay.
My favorite adaptation of a game as Sonic, and I am so looking forward to Sonic 2.
It
And
looks
I
good.
know you need to see Sonic. You've got to find
I
out
don't
and
know
see
how
it.
it got past me. I know, I need to watch it so I can be ready for the next one because it looks really, really good, and I heard that Jim Carrey in both of these is just phenomenal.
Absolutely great. So there you go. All right. Vanessa, thank you for joining me. This was a lot of fun.
Super fun, loved it.
All right, let's say goodnight.
Good night.